Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match reaction. Everton 1, Wolves 2. Football is back at Goodison Park. A very, very, very disappointing afternoon at Goodison. A really, really poor performance by Everton, if truth be told. The manager went with Dwight McNeil in the side instead of Demarai Gray, which I thought was a bit of a strange one from the start. I'm not sure whether Gray was injured or was ill. He was on the bench, but McNeil started. And Yerry Mina came in and replaced, obviously, Conor Cody, who couldn't play because the game was against his parent club. And Everton started the game. The first minute was poor from Everton. Straight from the kickoff, back to Jordan Pickford and put him under pressure within 3 or 4 seconds. Which I don't understand what we're trying to do, but more of that later. But once we settled into the game, we got an early goal, won a corner on the right hand side. Dwight McNeil's corner was headed in by Yerry Mina, and the Blues were off to a tremendous start. 1-0 up, and you're thinking, right, can we build on this? And then the next, for me, instead of going for the kill there, we just allowed Wolves to come into the game. I thought Everton sat off them too much, had a lot of the ball, but didn't do anything with it. And I think this is something that is in Everton's play, and I don't know what they do on the training ground, is the truth, because there's no patterns of play in the final third. It is really, really poor. As poor as I think I can ever remember with Everton moving forward. There's nothing, no idea, there's no style in that final third. We seem to do okay playing through the lines towards the final third, and then the tendency, if it goes wide, to certainly someone like Mikalenko, he just passes the ball back all the time. McNeil did it. Every time he got it, he passed it back. And it allowed Wolves to get, a foothold in the game. But we give the ball away. Anthony Gordon then has to make a 50-50 tackle, and it bobbles out for a corner. And from the corner, we half clear it. It gets put back over the top, and Podence is on his own to knock it past Pickford, and the early advantage had gone. Everton then did have 2 tremendous opportunities to restore the lead. Well, 3 if you include one where Maupay ran into the Wolves half as the furthest player with the ball and somehow proceeded to kick it too hard so that Jose Sarr got there before him. Really poor play. And Anthony Gordon missed a tremendous opportunity after really good play by Gay. Won the ball back, slipped it through to him. His first touch is great, just hit it with your right foot into the corner you're facing, and we're 3-1 up, and he tried to put it back into the other corner, and Jose Sarr read it, and then Neil Maupay had an opportunity and fired it straight at Jose Sarr, and it was 1-1 at the break, but Everton were really disjointed. It was a really, really below par performance. Come out for the second half, thought the manager might make a couple of changes actually at the break. I thought it was, there was a shout certainly for Demarai Gray at half-time, and possibly even Tom Cannon. But neither of those changes were made. We came out for the second half and nothing really happened. It was more disjointed football. Stop-start. Everton have no real invention whatsoever in the game. And if there's Wolves fans watching, they probably take offence at this, but I mean it with both teams. But Wolves were they look like a really poor side, and Everton are there with them. They're 2 of the worst teams I've seen in the Premier League for a while. The way they play today, the both of them. And when you see a performance like that, you look and you go, if you had to make it kind of a judgment at the moment, them 2 would be in the bottom 3 with Nottingham Forest as the relegated teams right now. There's 22 games to play, and it could change massively. But they're 2 poor football teams, what I watched today. And as time went on, Everton huffed and puffed. You see the stats at the end, and Everton have had 12 shots, Wolves have had 7, Everton have had 6 on target. To Wolves was 4. 60% possession Everton have had, or 59% possession. But when you actually are there watching it, there's no real good moves, no real good patterns of play. Any attempt that went goalwards was weak. The manager brought on Demarai Gray for Dwight McNeil, but he didn't really get in the game either. We brought on Tom Cannon, but for me, the manager left that too late. Cannon came on, I think, like the 84th minute. But we had an opportunity which was cleared off the line late on, although Amadou Onana should have scored. For me, the free kick come in, he should have got his head on it, and he went hunched and half-hearted. It broke to Anthony Gordon, he couldn't get a clear connection on it, and then Ben Godfrey steered it goalwards, but with no real conviction, and Wolves smuggled it away off the line. And then the unthinkable happened. You know, Wolves had already made 5 changes, brought players like Adama Traore on, 4 changes, brought Matheus Nunes on, and people like that, and Antinori, who come on, and they managed to scramble an Everton attack clear. We missed 2 50-50 tackles, which we should have won, and they broke, and it went out to Traore. He ran through, and his cross wasn't very good. Everton had the opportunity to clear it, didn't, and it broke to Antinori, and he smashed it in to give Wolves a smash and grab, but a huge 3 points for them, and obviously Lopetegui's first game, and he've won it. And for Everton, it just compounded the misery, and I think the manager's got a real fight on his hands, because this looks now like Everton are staring at another relegation fight they're in it. They're in the middle of another relegation battle. Like I said before, there's 22 games left, but a trip to City at the weekend, you couldn't look at that with any sane eyes and say that Everton will get something. So it's another relegation battle. And are they up for it? I'm not sure. Is there enough goals in the team? No, there isn't. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in January. Everton need to spend some money, and very quickly, on forward players and another midfield player who's creative. They need at least 3 players in January at very least, and then players need to be in the door within the first few days. So all eyes on that now, or it's going to be a season where Everton may not escape this time if it carries on like this. Because if this was the squad for the rest of the season, you would say Everton would go down, no question about it. There's just no goals in it, no idea how to break teams down, no idea how to put pressure on teams. So long season ahead, sadly. Man of the match for me was Idrissa Gueye. I don't think anyone had a particularly good game, but I thought he kept going, won as many tackles as he could, created a great opportunity for Anthony Gordon. And I think the manager made a huge mistake when he took him off, and it cost Everton the game. Onana, I think, could have easily been subbed. He didn't do much today, and Alex Iwobi had certainly one of his poorest games under Lampard. So it was a strange substitution for me. But, like I say, no one really covered themselves in any glory. That's it for me. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Go and enjoy the rest of your Boxing Day if you can. Thanks for watching. See you later.